Hey everybody, it's Pete Toll, aka PT Sports 84, back with another video. Today, 2K dropped another roster update. This time, we actually get the retro faces that were in the latest patch that dropped this past Monday. There's not a lot of faces added, but I wanted to go ahead and do the video because I stated before once those retro faces were added, I would go ahead and highlight those. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to start with the earlier Magic versus Bird era from '83 and just kind of go through um, and show you who was added in to the roster. Um, so, um, like I said, there's not any uh, as not as far as new players added in or anything like that. It's just updating the faces and stuff like that. What's up, everybody that's tuning in live? If you got any concerns or anything like that, as far as feedback, it depends what it is. Going to different devs and stuff like that. Is it retro related concerns or what exactly um, is it concerning? Because that kind of makes a difference as well. But wanted to jump into the faces. So we've got Greg Kite was updated. He's in multiple eras um, as well. So looking at good morning, Kyle. Happy New Year to you. But there's Greg Kite. Um, he's here on the Celtics. He's also in the 85-86 Celtics, and then he's um, also on the 91-92 Orlando Magic. The Hornets City Court is incorrect. Um, it's more of an art team, and they don't really have anybody that's on Twitter as far as knowing that. I can pass that along to get it to the art team. I'm not sure it gets fixed, but I can pass it along. Great kite. But anyway, this is what he looks like. I think the render looks great. The hairstyle for that time, um, I don't remember exactly what his hair looks like. So I'd have to look up Getty Images to look at the hair. But the facial features and stuff like that, the mustache, all that stuff, looks really good. That's a great artist render there on that one. So that's Greg Kite as far as um, players from that era. I was hoping that we'd see some added players in to this update because I wanted to see like Mike McGee added to the Lakers, but they have not added him in. They'll probably wait for a roster update. As I stated before in my last video, my personal preference would be get like a handful of players at once and then do a massive update. I know like Luol Deng has to get added in, Mike McGee, Liddell Eccles. Maybe you can get three or four more players that they get the rights to, and then they could just go ahead and do a roster update from there and add them in. But I was glad to see that they actually added the faces because they were a little bit behind doing so, getting them in. But um, let's see, Wayne Cooper gets added there. I can't remember if it was the 91, 92 Wayne Cooper. I think that's who it was. They had missed adding his face in, but we're going to check that out in just a second. So we go over to the 91 era, and we have some faces. Like I said, Liddell Eccles should be added to this Washington Bullets team. Here's Greg Foster, that was also fixed, but he was already previously in because anybody that already has a uh, basically a player render scan or a cyberface scan, artist render, those automatically update whenever the patch drops because the number's not changing, just the face is changing. Um, for those that don't know, guys like Greg Kite, like etc., those guys were generic caps, and those have to be changed into the player ID, and that's what takes so long for those to get fixed. But there is Greg Foster. I think that Greg Foster looks really good, much improved Greg Foster. The other one was the old gen, mangled looking version that they have on a lot of players. So they were able to update that. Next is Winston Bennett. He's here on the Cavaliers team. He's also on the 8990 historic roster team as well. But there is Winston Bennett. That one looks great, just like that Greg Foster does as well. So glad to see those updated. And then lastly, for the let me look at Gary Grant. They did get Gary Grant updated here. For those that don't know, Gary Grant was missing here. They had not updated his generic render. They now have done so. So that is fixed. The next face that we got is Blair Rasmussen for the Atlanta Hawks. Let's take a look at him. There's Rasmussen. Looks very good. The haircut matches, everything like that. That's the one thing. You can get a great render, and then the hair doesn't match for some players in the past. But they've done a much better job recently over the past year of getting those details correct. So there's Rasmussen as well. And then we've got one more, or two more faces rather, in the Kobe era. Let's see. Let's go over the Kobe era and look at those. Milt Palacio gets updated. So looking at him real quick. As you can see, there's Milt Palacio. That one looks great. Looks just like him. That render came out very well. They got the hair that fits for him also, so good to see that. Then we've got one last player to show. Like I said, there's not much in the way of this update. I'm hoping like Scalabrini and Jason Kidd eventually come in another update. Maybe the patch didn't go all the way through as far as updating those guys, or it was a premature update. The basically whoever did the patch notes didn't coordinate with the art team correctly, and then they were incorrectly added to the patch notes, and they haven't actually been patched yet. Not sure what's going on with it because like Eddie Jones was updated. George Gervin was updated. Those were in the patch notes as well, and those were updated just fine. But nothing for Scalabrini or Jason Kidd. But anyway, let's go over to the last update in this one. We've got Michael Curry. Hugo, I did check. I'll go back through and you can look along with me, but I did check the all-time versions and stuff like that. I didn't see a difference with them. The one thing that you'll know is when they update a face, they usually primarily aren't changing the ID number. So if it's old Jason Kidd there, it would be, old Jason Kidd across the board. But there is Michael Curry. That's the older version of Michael Curry, obviously. With basically looks just like him to me. Those that remember Michael Curry. So good to have that one in as well. And then that's all the faces that got updated. Like I said, there's not much in the way of retro content, but I did want to put out the video updating that. Let's go look at the other Jason Kidds just to get a clarification so everybody can see that they are the same. So we're going to go over to, let's go to the Phoenix Suns Jason Kidd. And like I said, the IDs are the same. Like they're not updating anything differently here. You look at Jason Kidd, and it basically gives them the ability to have a headband, but nothing happens to the render itself. We can also go over to the Jason Kidd. See, it's the same thing. Once you see the portrait ID, it's attached to the same Cyberface ID. So, unfortunately, they haven't updated. Hugo, what's up, man? Blair Rasmussen, Bennett, and Greg Kite all got updated. I went over that. If not going to do this video much longer, so you'll be able to go back to the beginning. I showed those faces already. So just rewind the video and you'll see those. So I want to go back through real quick. Show you there's no Luol Deng added to the 10-11 Bulls. Hopefully that'll come at some point. He might be my team exclusive for a short amount of time, and then they add him in to the offline roster. That seems to be the route they're going more often, to get him my team exclusive, kind of get some value out of that contract and stuff. They're wrong. 86 Celtics, Kite, 90 Cavs for Bennett. I mean, I looked at them and they were updated to me. There's Winston Bennett updated on the 89-90 Cavs. And then there is Greg Kite on the Celtics. So I don't know what you mean by them being wrong there, Hugo. They're updated. Did you get the prom screen for the updated roster? I don't know about if you're, anything with current gen. So I don't have current gen. I have no intention of ever getting current gen. I'm on next gen. So you would get the prompt. You probably need to back all the way out of your screen, Hugo. Back all the way out, hit circle, and back all the way out to the front screen. Because sometimes the PlayStation Network will kick you, and then it won't allow the prompt to trigger, if that makes sense. That happens to me a lot. Like I'll be working on some roster content, and all of a sudden the PlayStation Network signs me out, and I have to back all the way to the main screen, hitting circle, the main 2K screen rather, and then it'll flash the Devin Booker screen update, and then it'll allow you to sign back in, and then you probably won't get the prompt after that. You'll just be able to go into the official roster, and then it should be updated from there. I do get that quite a bit, so especially if you're already working on something when an update prompts and you don't back out quick enough. So, like I said, not a huge video as far as the content goes. I know some other creators already showed off the current team faces, so I'm not gonna go back through those again, but I do want to let everybody know something. I totally went the wrong way. I should have went the other way. That would have been a lot faster. So just bear with me. I'm gonna let everybody know because I had a few messages through YouTube and some DMs on Twitter. People are like, "Hey, I'm not seeing any of the updates for hair, anything like that." As far as guys showing up correctly. I saw where Pack Hoops did a video, and Pack didn't go through any of the faces to see that the difference in the hairstyle types. Like, look at if you click hairstyle 1, and then you go back. So see how I scrolled through to style 2, and then I go back, and it's completely different hairstyle? That's what you have to do with the players. 2K's made it a little more difficult as far as going through because they're not assigning the player hairstyles. Like, they have to go through on their end and manually trigger these hairstyles to show. And so you're not getting the proper updates. So you're like, wait, nothing's updated here, because I've done it myself. Like, I've seen nothing's updated before, and then I'm like, wait, something had to have updated somewhere, and it's just not showing. Like, look at Paul George. Like, I saw in Pack's video, like, he went through Paul George not being updated, but if you look at it, Paul George has updated hairstyles across the board. So looking at it, like, you could see the length of the hair changing, to different things. So you just have to go back through and look at each player, and then it triggers that way. Now, some are obvious. Like, if you go to um, Kai Jones, for example, obviously with his hair color change, that automatically triggers and changes the render completely. But for somebody like um, let's look at like James Booknight, you would have to look at tattoos and see that his tattoos are added there. You'll see a bunch of those added, and they put tattoo update in the patch notes. But someone like a Jordan Clarkson here, you would think, okay, Jordan Clarkson has his hair right here, like that doesn't look any different than it did before. But then when you go to Style 7 right here, look at how it extends. They just don't change it from 2K's perspective because for whatever reason, they decide that they're not going to update it until it's basically brought to their attention and kind of called out, which doesn't make any sense to me because in my opinion, I would rather be ahead of the game than behind. Um, like for Domantas Sabonis, it's hard to see because my uh, face is in the way, but his hair changes. As you can see, he adds the hair, more facial hair, stuff like that. So you can see the change in Sabonis. You just have to click through and then back up, and then it triggers, and it's whatever way that the engineer has written the coding that it doesn't automatically change and show correctly. So make sure that you're going through. Same thing with like I saw someone said that Aaron Gordon is the exact same, and that is not true at all. Um, you can look at the difference right there with Aaron Gordon and see the hair difference as you scroll through. There's multiple options for you to pick for Aaron Gordon. So you just got to do that. Like go through each player. It's a pain in the butt to have to go through, especially if you're trying to find stuff before the patch notes comes out. It's a pain to have to go through. Like they don't have Brandon Ingram properly assigned with his hair right there. It should be style 2, and you get the more like fuller hair. But then you go to someone like a Damian Lillard, and you've really got to take off all of his accessories and look at his tattoos and see if anything was added. It could be a chest tattoo. You never know what you're going to get as far as updates go for that. But then you get Porzingis, who's automatically put in with the facial hair. But he still has the option that if he goes back to the babyface look, then he still has that option available there. So I think it's pretty cool to have multiple options for facial hair, different hair lengths, yada, yada, yada. But that's just something that I want to make you guys aware of. Make sure that you're clicking through on that accessories tab, changing the styles. As you scroll through, it'll eventually change and update accordingly. So, hope everybody enjoyed this video. If you're watching it right now, please hit that like button. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so right now if you enjoy this content. I'll have a little mini video highlighting the NBA Era's quick play in about an hour. It drops Eastern time at 11. So I'll show you kind of what that looks like, what that update's going to look like, where to go to get it, all that kind of stuff. And I want to see if custom rosters are able to be utilized in that. So I'll show that mode off, just a quick video there. So hope everybody enjoyed this video. I will see you all in the next one, and thanks for watching.